2013 U.S. Open's final weekend starts off with his first final in the mixed doubles. And down here you see Spears and Gonzalez. What an amazing story. These two were great doubles players throughout their career. Suffered some injuries, but have come back in the over 30 category. Made a comeback, just joined forces, have never partnered before, and make it all the way to the final. I have to just show the draw one more time here quickly. As you can see, the cardiac kid, Spears-Gonzalez. Spears from the U.S., Gonzalez from Mexico. They beat Gorgeous and Bopana 10-6 super tiebreak. Then they beat the Cornet-Vaseline team. That wasn't too tough. But then the Huber-Mello, which has played really well this year. Look at this, 11-9 super tiebreak. I saw a lot of that. Huber-Mello just got a little bit tight, to be honest with you. And Spears-Gonzalez are just playing like having the time of their life. Kind of like Wawrinka, just having a blast. And a happy tennis player makes a great tennis player. And then they played Garrigus and Soares, who were a little bit tired, it looked like. I saw some of that, and that was pretty easy. But the big comebacks against Huber-Mello, and in the beginning, Huber-Mello were seeded 8, and Gorgeous Bopana seeded 3. So major stuff. So into the final we go. And unfortunately, it didn't continue for Spears-Gonzalez, as they lost 7-6, 6-3 to Latvatchkva and Mirny. They were more experienced and the favorites, obviously, as the 7 seed. They've had the better year. I mean, Spears-Gonzalez just got together. Also, with what happened here is, from what I saw, I mean, Spears-Gonzalez actually were the ones who went up in front first. And then they got Mirny, Latvatchkva got the break back. And in the tie-break, I think Spears-Gonzalez got tight for the first time, because they've been playing loose and fun and fancy-free. And all of a sudden, they had a chance to win the U.S. Open final, and they got a little bit tight. And the experience with, especially Mirny. Mirny's really, great at, and he loves his partner, he has said, and he just gets her going. And she made some big returns to Latvatchkva, and sometimes she gets a little tight. But Mirny, I think, got her going, and they both made big returns, broke Spears back, and then won that tie-break. Gonzalez put a tight volley into the net. Spears made a couple tight shots. Then in the second set, Spears and Gonzalez went down a break to start. Again, I think they busted Spears' serve. And Spears has been serving great and returning fantastic, but I think just, again, tightness a little bit. Maybe a little fatigue, but I don't think that's as much of it. But anyway, but Spears and Gonzalez broke right back, which I think on Mirny's serve. And Mirny's been getting really smacked around on his serve, like by McDonovic and now Spears, by some of the ladies. It's pretty funny. I mean, I think he's maybe lost a bit on that serve in his older age, but the women today, they can take it. The returning by women are great these days. Anyway, but after Spears-Gonzalez broke back, they got a little tight again later in the set. And Spears got broken, and Latvatchkva made a big return, and then Mirny smashed a return winner for the game, and then they served it out. So just a great job. I think just a little tightness came in the happy camp of Spears-Gonzalez, and that's all that happened there. But wild mixed doubles, big-time upsets, and Spears-Gonzalez said they're going to definitely hook up together for the Australian Open, so that's cool. Then Azarenka, Panetta. This was a lot tougher than the scoreline might have looked. Big fight from Panetta. She kept breaking back when she went down a break. But at the end, at 4-5, she was broken again, and Azarenka got the set. And again, it was a much tougher second set than it looks. Near the end, Panetta looked a little bit exhausted. I mean, it finally took its toll, all the tennis. I mean, who would have thought? It's been a while, and I think she was a little tight. I mean, she's a veteran, but she hasn't been there in a while, and Azarenka's been there a lot lately. So Azarenka struggled in the wind again. I mean, I think in a weird way it's the same situation as we've had for Murray, who struggled a little bit defending his crown. Even though Azarenka didn't win the U.S. Open last year, after beating Serena at Cincinnati, I think she's had a little pressure because people expect, wow, she's the one person with a chance to beat Serena. I think there's a little added pressure going on there. Plus, a lot of times we're looking at these players like Murray or whoever, and even Djokovic, and saying, oh, the pressure or what's going on. But the wind has been tricky. They liven the ball up, but we really haven't seen the full effect of it because of the immense humidity. Then the coldness and the wind for almost the whole time, at least the second week for sure, a lot of wind. So that levels the playing field. Anything can happen. You see these guys struggling and these ladies, and especially the ladies on serve, and you wonder, you think they're all nervous and stuff, but a lot of it's just the conditions, and they've been saying that to us over and over, the conditions, the wind, and I think, the fans tend to ignore it and just want to blame everything on nerves. So, yes, Azarenka, maybe a little bit of pressure she's fighting, but the conditions aren't tricky. And by the way, Panetta's playing great. So, and if Panetta hadn't gotten a little fatigued, which I kind of expected would have happened, and had she been used to the I think this was her first Grand Slam semifinal actually, but had those little bit of elements hadn't been there, she could have won this. I mean, she's playing fantastic. But hey, good prep for Azarenka. She'll need this. She raised her game at the end of the second set. It's that kind of game at the end, the aggression and the power and the consistency, even in the wind. She's going to need that for Serena. And speaking of Serena, I loved Nali's interview after this. She said that she wished she could play Serena again in 6 months. And people might say, okay, that's an excuse, but it's not. I mean, she's working on a more aggressive game. She's getting it. It's going to be really good for her in the long run. But for now, if Serena's in form, and again, the wind didn't help, but, Serena comes out. Sloane Stephens, in my opinion, really put Serena in form. Sloane played a really good match. I was surprised. I thought she'd be more nervous. She was a little nervous, but I'll tell you, she played fantastic and really made Serena. I mean, Serena was on the defensive. Sloane Stephens was dictating a lot of that match until the end of it. But I think that set Serena up big time. She's been great ever since. That put her in some great form. I mean, in these Grand Slams, you don't want it too hard or you're going to be wasted, but you don't want it too easy either or you don't have any form. And anyway, Serena's found great form. So that was tough for Nali. She kind of got the hang of it a little bit in the second set, and just the natural human nature, Serena came down just a bit. But then Serena went crazy at the end to win it, and it kind of wore her out for her doubles, which is kind of shocking because she had the match. But I think that's how much respect she has for Nali, plus being older, the old lady yips. I hate to say it, but you get a little nervous. Oh, I'm going to blow it like Rosano in the French Open again or something. So she was freaking out at the end when she won. So I think she was nervous. Had Nali gotten that second set, it really could have gotten really crazy in the third. And then speaking of that doubles, she had to take a suitable rest, they say. I thought, well, she wouldn't need much rest because, I was wrong. She came out pretty flat, and she admitted such. What was shocking was Venus played so poorly. And Serena said, well, her energy helps Venus out, but why wouldn't Venus help Serena out? I mean, she's the older one. She's not playing singles right now. She has the energy. And I saw her grabbing her back just a couple of times. I don't know if that was a problem. I don't know if the disease, again, I think that disease can be mental too. You just don't, it's a happy tennis player. Again, I've learned this U.S. Open, happy means everything. And it's hard to be happy when you've got this debilitating disease going on. So I think even though it's a lot mental, it starts from that disease. And all I know is that Venus did not play well. And she couldn't pick Serena up. And Serena kind of said in the interview, I needed to be the one with the energy. So interesting. And also, Radeka and Levachkova, Radeka's had fitness issues all year. Levachkova has also had, of late, been a little fatigued, had some wrap around her knees earlier in the week. Suddenly, she had no wrap on her knees. She looked fantastic. Radeka played the best I've seen since the beginning of the year. And all of a sudden, they were on fire. And all the reason I can account for that is because they didn't look that great. I watched their doubles match against Petrova and Srebotnik when they upset the 3 seed. And it wasn't that great. Petrova had a back issue. She had an MTO or thigh issue. And she had a medical timeout. And yet, Radeka Levachkova barely got through them. And yes, and Srebotnik's is older now, and she struggles a little bit. So, yeah, they're the number 3 seed. But I was unimpressed by Radeka and Levachkova. And this match, they were on fire. And the only reason I can account for that is you're playing the Williams sisters. At night, Arthur Ashe, doesn't matter how many people were watching, they were pumped up. And it was maybe the best match. I mean, they've been getting upset by Barty Delacqua this year, this team, Radeka, Levachkova. And this was by far the best doubles they played all year. So that combined with the letdown by the Williams did the Williams in. I actually thought Williams might have been in trouble, especially if Serena had a tough match earlier. But until I saw that doubles, I took a look at the doubles with Petrova and Srebotnik, and then I thought, oh, there's no chance. But I guess in the end I was wrong. I mean, I didn't realize the Czech team was going to pump it up so much. Anyways, quads, they've shut down Louis Armstrong in the grandstand at court 17. We jumped to court 13, Lapthorne, Taylor. Taylor's the legend. Lapthorne's getting closer and closer, but he really couldn't. I'm sorry, Nick Taylor. I got the wrong one here. Wagner's the legend. Nick Taylor's good. He teams in doubles with Wagner, actually. But Nick Taylor's got a little bit of struggle because of his issues with his body. He has a little bit struggles on the power side. And he does some tricky stuff on serve and some neat stuff. It's amazing what this guy can do with his issues. But Lapthorne just probably ran him down some and started getting a hold of the power. And I think he was down early, but Lapthorne came back and took control. And he really has been knocking on the door to get that number one and beat Wagner. And speaking of Wagner, he must be down here somewhere. Well, I don't know where Wagner is. We'll get to that later, I guess. In the meantime, what else did we have here? Van Coot, yeah, she did it, but that was tough. And I don't know much about this Japanese wheelchair girl, but she really gave it to Van Coot. Surprising. The boys' juniors, Guerin, the French Open champ, got through, not surprising. Doubles, Griffion and Van Coot have been a great doubles team. They almost beat the Verger double team about a year ago, so that's how good they are, because nobody almost beats Verger. Hibby, amazing. She got in the national playoffs this year in the main draw. She is on fire, and she upsets the number 3. Siniakova had a little bit of an arm injury. I think might have contributed to that, but Hibby can run down a lot of balls on this variable surface. Kunieda, a tough one with Germais from France, but he got through. Varev, top talent, the younger brother of Mikhail Varev. He's tall. He's about 6'3", 6'4", I think. He has a nice serve, can volley, has a quick game, offense. He's good, and he just outpowered, I'm sure, at Ultimo Rano, who hangs on the baseline a little bit too much if you pop the power, and especially with these live balls. This was a huge upset. Hude and Kunieda, definitely the best doubles team. And it looks like something went wrong. They're 6-love, 6-4. So I don't know, a little fatigue. I wonder, because Kunieda barely got out of his singles as well. So maybe a little fatigue there. But Germaez and Sheffers have done very well in doubles in the past. They're a veteran doubles team, and they're definitely good. So not a pretty big upset, though. Koric got through, not surprising. Hude, but he had a tough one, too. The wheelchairs are getting a little more competitive here. So, okay. Court 8, Konju over Chirico. Chirico was exhausted from her big 3-setter the day before. Kakanakis has too much power for Quincy. Quincy got the first set, but then Kakanakis got rolling. And on with these lively balls on this variable surface, the power is winning out from the baseline. Power and movement's the best, but if I think Kakanakis had too much power. Then we have the number 1 doubles team in the Czech girls. Siniakova has a little bit of an injury, but doesn't bother as much for doubles. And Krajikova is a top-rated. I think she's number 4 rank of the junior girls. So that's like 3 and 4, number 3 and 4 rank teaming together in doubles. That's tough. Lautner, the German, big upset of number 1 seed Bensick. Bensick won Wimbledon and French Open, but she's better on where she can be. She has some power, but she likes to be patient and do some rallies. And I'm sure with these lively balls, Lautner has a big serve. I think she had 8 aces, maybe it was. I'm not sure, but anyway, she has a big serve and a lot of power, and I think she just overpowered her. You'll see that a lot on this surface. The only people, that's why I thought the Giants would do so well here, but then you have people who can run on the singles of the men, like Djokovic, Nadal, and then that's a different story because they can run so much. But look at Azarenka and Serena, that's definitely the 2 power girls there. So this lively balls, even with the bad wind and the cold conditions, had it not been such bad weather or for tennis, had the weather been warmer and drier, I'm telling you, these lively balls, it would have given the Giants like Isner and Raonic even more of a chance with these balls. Okay, Black, Tornado Alicia Black. Her sister's name's Hurricane, I kid you not. She's only 15, USA. She runs around like a maniac from the baseline, is a huge competitor, and looks like she won like a very tough match with Shimonovich. Shimonovich was definitely the favorite and the older girl. But Tornado is a tornado, and she's into the semis. Incredible. The number 3 seeds upset the number 2 seeds in doubles. I don't know much about this. I'm actually sort of surprised with Lautner and Konju. That should have been a great team there, but it was 12-10 super tiebreak. So maybe the doubles team on the other Benchik team just had more camaraderie, just a bit. Sithole, what a great year he's having. He's never been in top 5 before. He's busted into the top 5 this year, and he upsets Wagner. Wagner was on fire on serve in the first set, and then slowly Sithole turned it around. Sithole has if I'm correct, is a lefty. He actually is missing legs and an arm, and in a terrible train accident. Down below, you can see a link to his biography. It's an amazing story. And he can really get a serve going. He can move really well, even though he has sort of a stump kind of for the right arm. He really can move the wheelchair really well. It's just amazing, actually. And he's just, I don't know why it's taken him so long, maybe because of his handicap situation, maybe a little worse than the others. And but now, I mean, the guy can really motor, and no pun intended there. And once he got his serve going, he has power too, and he took off 6-4, 6-1. And Wagner might have got a little fatigued. He's getting older, you know. Anyway, Ellerbrock did her job, and that's we got Redlicki, the Polish team. Even though Redlicki is a USA, he is originally, his parents are from Poland. They just teamed up for the first time. They're on fire, and that's a wrap for day 12, and we are officially into the weekend.